After successfully breaking the Moehne Dam in Germany, Lancaster commanders Gibson and Young now led the 3 remaining aircraft to the Eder Dam, some 10 minutes away. The approach to the Eder Dam was even more difficult than the Moehne, but this time there was no flak. At 01:20 hours, 20-year-old Flight Lieutenant David Shannon made the first of 3 bombing runs, trying to align L for leather on the target before he released his bomb. It bounced wide and exploded without breaching the dam. The second bomb was dropped by Squadron Leader Henry Maudsley, but it hit the left side of the dam. The third and final bomb was released by Pilot Officer Les Knight in Lancaster N for Nan. It was dead on target. Gibson later recalled that the dam collapsed as if a gigantic hand had punched a hole through cardboard. Meanwhile, the second wave assigned to attacking the Sorpe Dam had fared badly. 1 was lost to flak. 2 had to return to England after suffering technical problems. A 4th Lancaster, E for easy, struck power lines and crashed. Its upkeep bomb failed to explode and was soon recovered by the Germans. Unlike the other dams, the Sorpe was constructed differently. Its concrete core lay between earth and clay banks. It would be even more difficult to destroy. The last aircraft of the second wave, T for Tommy, was flown by the American Lieutenant Joe McCarthy. By now, mist was descending over the reservoir, but around the dam itself visibility was clear. To ensure accuracy, McCarthy flew parallel with the dam, using the spire of a local church to align the Lancaster on its target. T for Tommy dropped its bomb right on top of the parapet. It was a brilliant feat of precision flying, but the explosion caused no breach. F for Freddy of the third wave made another attack on the Sorpe Dam, but the mist was becoming a serious problem. Flight Sergeant Kenneth Brown made a preliminary bombing run to allow his bomb aimer, Sergeant Stefan Wansia, to gauge the target. On its second run, F for Freddy dropped its bomb on target, but again a breach never occurred. Even so, the dam required extensive repairs. The only remaining Lancaster, Ova Orange, attacked the Ennepe Dam at 03:38, but without success. Operation Chastise was over. Several crews had already returned to RAF Scampton and were being debriefed. 2 dams had been successfully destroyed and a 3rd damaged. Bomber Harris was present and was quick to congratulate Barnes Wallace on the success of the mission.
So there is no greater joy in life than first proving that a thing is impossible and then showing how it can be done. Any number of experts had pronounced that the Moehne and the Eder dams could not possibly be destroyed by any known means. And then one goes and shows how it can be done. But mind you, the doing was done by Guy Gibson and 617 Squadron, not by me.
The last Lancaster, Ova Orange, landed at RAF Scampton at 06:15 hours on May 17th, after its unsuccessful attack on the Ennepe Dam. The cost in men and machines was high. 8 of the 19 Lancasters never returned. In all, 53 men were killed in action and 3 were captured. Among the dead was squadron leader Dinghy, whose upkeep bomb had breached the Moehne Dam. He had been nicknamed Dinghy because twice before he had managed to nurse damaged bombers back to the North Sea, where the crews were retrieved from their rescue dinghies. A for Apple made it to the coast, but crashed on the shoreline. All the crew were killed. So too were those on B. Baker, C. Charlie, E. Easy, K. King, M. Mother, S. Sugar, Z. Zebra. It was a horrifying loss, 42%. During World War II, the overall loss rate of RAF bombers was only 2.5%. As the commanding officer, it was Gibson's mirthless duty to inform the families of the fate of their missing sons, brothers, and fathers. Sergeant Frank Tees, fortunately, was one of the 3 airmen who was taken prisoner and survived. The British newspapers were given unprecedented information about Operation Chastise, and dramatic headlines were published around the world. At a dark time of the war, the operation was an enormous boost to both British and American morale. On May 19th, Churchill praised the operation during a speech to the U.S. Congress. After many months of gallant but mostly ineffective bombing against Nazi Germany, RAF Bomber Command was now held in the highest esteem. The dam busters of Operation Chastise succeeded in its mission to damage German industry. Goebbels wrote that the raid presented a dark picture of destruction. Roads and bridges were swept away and several important factories destroyed. At least 1,200 were killed. Tragically, most of them were Russian female slave workers, and the Nazis exploited their deaths for propaganda purposes. Vast tracts of fertile agricultural land were devastated, forcing food and other supplies to be diverted from elsewhere. To repair the dams, thousands of workers were transferred from the Channel coast, thereby slowing the construction of fortifications against the expected Allied invasion of occupied Europe. Thousands of soldiers were redeployed to guard the remaining dams and man the hundreds of anti-aircraft guns that were now installed at every dam site. The reconstruction of the Moehne and Eder dams took months, monopolizing skilled labor at the cost of other German war projects. The deaths of 53 gallant airmen saved thousands of Allied soldiers on the Normandy beaches in June 1944. On May 27, 1943, King George VI visited 617 Squadron. The King was introduced to the survivors of the raid, including David Shannon, who turned 21 that day. On June 22nd, Wing Commander Guy Gibson and 30 members of 617 Squadron went to Buckingham Palace to receive 33 gallantry awards from the King, including 14 Distinguished Flying Crosses. But foremost among them was the Victoria Cross, awarded to Guy Gibson for his valor and outstanding leadership during the raid. At the time, Gibson was the most decorated member of the Royal Air Force. Wallace was granted £10,000, but declined the award, quoting the Bible, Samuel 2, chapter 23, "Is not this the blood of men that went in jeopardy of their lives?" The Germans quickly uncovered the secrets of Wallace's bouncing bomb after the one from E for Easy was captured intact. They spent thousands of man-hours and scarce resources to develop their own version of the bomb, codenamed Kurt.